And you disappeared.
Hello.
Hello. That was a shock. You disappeared on me.
I was thinking, I was like, are we live? Are we not? Are you there, Paul? Am I hosting this
We
myself?
are. We are live. We are live. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to day two of Living Beyond the Change. And as you can see, I'm joined today with Susie, but I'm joined today by Susie Beaumont, who is the owner of Change Your World. Well, it was called Change Your World Events, but she can't do any events at the moment. She's just calling it Change Your
Yeah,
World.
I'm having to change my title and my whole working pattern, but yeah.
So Susie and I met a couple of years ago a year ago, actually, it's a year ago this April when we worked together on the Change Your World conference in Inverness. And it was a fantastic journey, and it has been a fantastic journey ever since. And I have to say, Susie is instrumental in some of the things that I'm doing here now because I've been working with Change Your World every day for the last year, and watching the growth in other people and seeing myself like, ooh, oh, maybe I could do something. So I don't think I'd be doing this without you and your organisation. So
Oh,
say some more. Tell everybody about yourself and what this is all
well,
about.
where do I start? Where do I start? Well, I suppose today's summit, well, first of all, I want to say congratulations to you because what you have pulled off is absolutely incredible. And it is wonderful to see you stepping into your true light, your true potential, and pushing all these comfort zones. And I mean, I know some of the stress and the challenges you've had to do, and you've pulled this whole 3 day summit together in sort of 15 days. And I know some of the challenges you've had behind the scenes, and it's running smoothly. You've got excellent speakers, and it's just an incredible achievement. And the fact that you mentioned that Change Your World Every Day has been part of that journey for you, which is the online coaching group that I run. I mean, that is why I run this group and why I set up Change Your World, because I am so super passionate about personal development. And the label personal development doesn't actually do any justice. When I say that, people don't really get what that means. But essentially, it's a consistent practice of self worth, self value, just habits that take you from where you are, habits, actions, and thinking that takes you from where you are now to where you want to be. And you're really stepping into that now. You've had the pain, there's been challenges, and now the rewards of the hard work that you've done. You've been laying all the foundations, and now you've taken massive action. And the reason, I said I am so super passionate about personal development because first and foremost, I've changed my own life through the power of personal development. And that's what today's going to be all about, all the amazing speakers that you've got lined up today. And I really do believe, we're in a place now where we have a real opportunity to create a different world going forward. We always have that opportunity, but now more than ever. Now we have an opportunity where we can say, right, our lives have been put on pause because of the COVID-19. And well, for a majority, a lot of people are still really stressed out and on the front line, but for the majority, we're kind of got an opportunity to reflect and say, okay, what was working, what do I want to return to, what do I want to retain, what do I want to keep, what do I
Mm,
want to ditch, because
yeah.
I do not want to go to that, back to that chronic stress, that way that I was living, in not connecting with families. And this pause on life has allowed us to starting to learn new things about ourselves, giving us a space to work out what's right for us and what's not right for us. And that's essentially what happens. I don't know, do you want me just to go into my story or?
Well, I mean, I think, yeah, give a brief about your story because that's how you started Change Your World. I mean, we wouldn't be here today unless you had that journey, would
Yeah,
it?
no, absolutely. I mean, so my background is that, I used to be a radio producer. I was working in the BBC, absolutely loved my job. I was thriving, I was winning awards. That part of my life was going well because I was focusing all my attention there because I was avoiding the rest of my life that wasn't going well. So, I was in an unhappy, miserable, toxic relationship. I had some health problems. I, was overweight. I mean, not chronically overweight, but, I was larger than I needed to be. That was healthy for me. I was in lots of debt, and, but to the outside world, I had the nice house, I had the good job, I was in a relationship, it looked like it was all rosy, it looked good. But inside, I was dying, I was miserable, I was unhappy, and just in my mid-30s thinking, wow, is this it? Eat, sleep, work, repeat. And, I've achieved all the things that you're conditioned to achieve. And I was just like, I just feel empty inside this. None of this is fulfilling. And then by chance, I was making a radio program with a life coach called Alistair Stewart. He had tragically lost his son, and that I was making a program about his story and his campaign. And off air, I was like, what's a life coach? What do you do? And he just was like, well, I help people to reach their true potential. And then very bluntly said, you could do with some life coaching. I was like, how very dare you? There's nothing wrong with me, because I met him in a professional capacity, putting my best front forward. But Alistair's very intuitive. He could see through the facade of the life that I was presenting. So anyway, long story short, it took me 4 months to pluck up the courage to actually make that first life coaching call. But we started life coaching, and he just simply asked me in my first session, what do you want from life?
I think what you're not mentioning here is that you had some pretty nasty knocks along the way here. This wasn't just a question of like, oh, my life is a bit. You actually had some deep despair going on in places.
But that was after. I mean, my life, there was anxiety and unrest and, dissatisfaction in my life already. But, 6 months into the life coaching relationship with Alistair, where I was starting to see some changes. I was starting to question things. I was starting to see my limiting beliefs, my lack of confidence, all these things and how they were holding me back. And I was starting to address those things. But then a whole grenade went off in my life. And my mum and sister both diagnosed with terminal cancer within 4 months of each other. That led on to me splitting from my partner, which I needed to get out of that relationship. But talk about the worst timing ever,
Not the best of timing, was it? But hey,
No. So I'm going through losing my mum, losing my sister, breaking up from my partner, selling the house. Then knowing I've got another sister, Shelley, who's got learning disabilities. I always knew that I would become her carer and guardian when my parents passed away. I'd already lost my dad 10 years earlier, so losing mum was that stepping stone. But I just assumed that I'd be married with kids and she would just slot into family life. I would assume that I had all my other siblings around me and they would support and help that process. And, I have a brother as well. But after the loss of my mum, that relationship completely broke down and he decided he wanted nothing to do with us. So all of a sudden, it was me and my sister. And everything I had known had just been thrown up in the air. My whole life, the whole status, the whole significance that I put on that life, just thrown up in the air. And I was left, two options, because it did get really dark. My mental health did spiral down. I wouldn't say I had clinical depression, but I had circumstantial depression, like really suffering and struggling with overwhelm and of just this whole situation of loss, loss of my home, loss of my partner, loss of my mum, about to lose my other sister. And then suddenly this responsibility of being a carer and guardian, making decisions for my sister when I could barely make decisions for myself, at that point. And then because all that was going on, my career, which I'd been thriving at and, put a lot of significance on, suddenly that started crumbling because I couldn't cope under the stress. And, quite rightly, my boss told me to go get signed off by the doctor and just take some time out, which was the right thing to do. But for me, that felt like I had failed, like I couldn't cope. And that just felt like the ultimate, slap in the face, just like that's the last seed of my life gone. But fortunately, you know, I was still seeing Alistair, and I mean, I could ill afford it at the time. That was the thing, you know, it wasn't a lot of debt, and I couldn't really afford life coaching sessions. But then I thought, what am I spending my money on that is going to turn my life around? Like nothing at that point. I kept doing the same things and expecting different results. So I started seeing, you know, through all this, I was being supported by Alistair. I started attending workshops, reading self-help books, started meditation, gratitude journals, you know, really going to work on myself. And I mean, during this time, it did get really dark, and that was the turning point, because I remember I'd lost my mum at this point, and you know, I was really struggling to navigate through social services and set up a care package for my sister, and there was a lot of stress. And I remember just waking up, and each day I would get this pain in my heart. And it would be pain from the grief and the loss and all the change and transition. But it would physically stop me breathing if I focused on it. You know, I mean, it really was just like, and I just thought, why I believe that when you pass away, that you go to this beautiful place of no suffering, unconditional love. And I just thought, why am I hanging around to experience all this pain and suffering and grief when I could just check out and end it all? And that was the pivotal moment, because I thought, whoa, when did I start thinking like that? When did I start spiraling down that far that I was having those kinds of thoughts? And fortunately, because I had the right role models around me, not just Alistair, but I had a friend that would take me out running. She got me into running. And, you know, I could not run the length of myself, but that did wonders for me. So I had these role models around me, and I thought, okay, I've been learning the theory of personal development. I've been learning all these techniques, but I've not been applying them. You know, I've been inspired by them, but I've not been applying them. And I thought, if I am going to turn this situation around, I've got to start putting them into action. And that was I mean, it didn't happen overnight. This was a slow process. So we got to the point where, you know, I just started with a gratitude journal. And I mean, at the time, I was like, I was in such a negative headspace, but I was like, well, everything's going wrong. But what turned that around was Alistair. Like, Alistair can be quite sarcastic, but I love that kind of sense of humor.
Yes.
He knows how to handle me. He knows exactly the right thing to say to me to have the effect, you know, to get me motivated. And he had said, no matter how bad it gets, think on, because it could always get worse. And I was like, are you kidding me? Am I paying you for this? Like, how can you know, I've lost my mum, you know, about to lose my sister, you know, rattling off all the woes means. But then I started thinking, actually, I've got a roof over my head. I've still got my health. I've still got a job. I've still got amazing friends around me. I've got this life coach. I've still got my sister and, you know, some extended family. I have a lot to be grateful for. So that started changing my mindset. And I started.
It's like yesterday, isn't it? It's like yesterday's comment from Jo Howarth yesterday. She said, if you feel you've got something to be grateful, go and make a cup of tea.
Yeah, absolutely. Because some people don't have that luxury.
Someone arranges that their water comes out the tap, and you have a kettle that someone made. Someone's picked tea for you, and you're like, oh yeah.
I mean, and that's it. And I mean, don't get me wrong. Anybody that is going through challenging times, whether it's right now, or you know, about to go into challenging times, or have been in challenging times, this is a part of the process. It's okay to stay and have the pity party, to have the victim mode, you know, feel all these horrible negative emotions. That's part of the process, and it's important. But the point is, don't stay there. You know, it's use these painful emotions to move you forward and say, okay, I deal with it, embrace it, hug them, nurture them, but move forward from them. Don't stay stuck there. Yeah. And that is why this is why I'm so passionate about personal development, because of the work that I did on myself with the support.
I'm really unprofessional. I'm going to walk away from you and leave you talking, because I need to get some headphones, because we're getting feedback. So I'm going to go get some headphones while you carry on talking.
Okay. Well, I will just carry on telling people why I am so passionate about personal development, because that is the thing for me. You know, it's been a constant journey of me going, right, okay, what's working, what's not, what brings me joy, what doesn't, you know, and sieving out the things that don't bring me joy and filling my life up with the things that do bring me joy. That has been the biggest thing. Like, I mean, I've changed my diet, I've given up alcohol, I've ditched friendships and relationships that were not working for me. You know, those relationships where you'd spend time with somebody and you come back from that situation just thinking, oh, that's just left me feeling a bit crap. You know, sieved out all those kind of situations, those episodes, and started filling my life up with lots of role models. And that for me is the biggest thing, because we've become the direct reflection of the 5 people we spend the most time with. So when I learned this, I started looking at the 5 people I spent the most time with, and I was like, wow, they're not lifting me up, they're not inspiring me, they're keeping me small, and they're keeping me trapped in my limiting beliefs. You know, it's like, I right, who do you think you are kind of thing. Like, oh, look at you try to better yourself, you know. And instead of where I had another core group that were going, Susie, that's amazing, you're doing that, well done, go for it. And I thought, these are the people I need to surround myself by, and I need to surround myself by people that give me the tools and techniques that inspire me to be, you know, more than I am. Be it's not, see, the problem with personal development, why it gets a bad rap, is that there's this constant drive to be more. But if you are happy with where you are and you are content, at peace, you're in flow, then great. There's no requirement to be more. But if you're sitting there and thinking, yeah, this is not really working for me, or yeah, that makes me feel a bit crap, or oh, no, I'm getting feedback from you, Paul.
I wonder why I'm getting such bad feedback.
Don't know. You still got your headphones in?
I have.
Okay.
It's coming from your end now, I think.
What's that? Sorry?
It's coming from your end now.
I haven't changed anything.
No.
Well, that's a lie. I've changed everything, actually.
This is why I did most of these events recorded rather than live. So, because this sort of thing can happen, and you kind of go, now what?
But that's life. That is life. It throws you curveballs, it throws you obstacles, and that's what personal development can do. It's about how you respond to that. And that's, you know, personal development gives you tools and techniques to build your confidence, build your resilience, gives you skills to be flexible, adaptable, because when we are going through change, you need confidence, resilience, and the ability to be flexible, because, you know, things will come up at you, and if you're fixed and rigid, you're gonna suffer enormous pain. But if you go, okay, this is happening, this is a bit crap. what are we going to do with this? Okay, well, this is not how I planned. Let's look for the solutions rather than complaining about the problem, you know. So yeah.
So look, we are coming up at 10:48.
Yes.
And I know this thing starts shortly. So today is all about the core pillars of health and well-being. We've got people in talking about nutrition, we've got exercise, you know, diets, but it's not just about traditional stuff, it's about putting in good processes. And the whole day is going to be about building you up so that you've got these facilities, got these tools that you need to take yourself forward. Because when lockdown happened, you know, people thought it was Christmas and they filled the fridge. Now, if we carry on like this, we will bid the houses.
If I carry on with my chocolate habit, I'm definitely.
Yes, I know about your chocolate habit.
That's one thing I've not nailed. that is the thing. I mean, what today is all about. I mean, today is a fantastic platform to plant the seeds. This is like visiting the gym for the first time and starting your journey of physical health. But what this whole process is about is developing the spiritual health, the emotional health, the mental health as well. And that's what a personal development practice does. And doing this, I mean, the fact is, all the people that have signed up to today, they're saying, I'm ready, I'm searching for change, they're looking for inspiration, they're looking for the tools and techniques. And this is why platforms like this, summits like this, are so fantastic. But it's the work that is done afterwards, and it's keeping yourself on track, because, you know, we all have good intentions, but it's get yourself surrounded by positive role models that will keep you motivated when you feel like giving up. Get yourself into a community of people, whether it's my platform or any other platform. I don't care. I'm just passionate about people, personal development, and developing themselves. So, and sorry.
Oh, this feedback's terrible. I said your platform is available for people.
Well, it certainly is. I mean, basically, we have Change Your World Every Day is an online coaching group. We coach every day at 8 a.m. You can watch the broadcast live or on replay. We've got over 40 coaches. They're always, you know, building on those coaches, and we cover every topic. It's for personal and professional development. But the key that I always say about personal development is to do something every day. I mean, success is based on your daily actions. You know, what you want to create has to be, you have to create momentum. So this is what this group is all about. Is why we say change your world every day, because it's doing something each and every day that's taking you from where you are to where you want to be, and creating the things that you want and need in your life. It's not just about wants, it's more about what you need, and really working out what those needs are, you know, because often we get caught up in the wants, the big house, the fancy car, but it's like this moment right now in coronavirus has brought us back to a place of, well, what do we actually need? What do we need personally? What do we need for our family? And what does the world need? And that's some of the questions that people are starting to realize what's important, and priorities are changing. So we have a free trial. You can join at Change Your World Every Day. There's a 2-week free trial to check it all out before you commit, see what it's all about, and connect with the amazing coaches that we have. And this month, we're covering letting go, which is absolute core need that we need to do, because we're letting go of old identities, old patterns, old ways, old thoughts, old beliefs, and we're developing a new way going forward in terms of what the future looks like, what our careers look like, what our health looks like, you know, what our NHS systems look like. I mean, everything's changing, so we've got to let go of a lot of stuff. So do join us. Details will be in the comments below. So, and sorry, it's all fine on my end.
There were some great people in the group.
There is.
Arthur Moore was one of the coaches in that group. Rob Layton, who's in tomorrow, he's one of the coaches. Roy. Yeah, I'm not sure that there are any other people. Oh yes, Gem. No, Gemma's not there. I can't think of any people in
they're the only two that you've got on the summit, but we do have. I mean, just check out the Change Your World page. You'll see all our coaches, and you'll see me adding to them each and every week. You know, we've just got. I'm super proud of it, because, you know, I can't change the world on my own, and I need people to start their personal development practice, because personal development it enables you to think better. When you think better, you make better choices. When you make better choices, you get better results, and that's when your world starts to change. And collaboratively, that's what we're doing with all these coaches. There, you know, I can say my piece, I'll inspire some people, but we've got this wealth of talent and coaches and health and well-being experts that inspire every aspect of your life, whatever it is you're looking to change. So come and check us out.
And the best choice I made over the last few weeks was to do these things recorded, because the quality of the sound at the moment is really making me
hopefully everyone else is hearing it okay. And yeah, there's another lesson right there, another learning for us.
So we're now actually 10:54 on my clock here, and the session starts in 5 minutes, and I'm sorry, I have forgotten who's up first.
I haven't even got the list.
Oh no, it's Ross. yeah, Ross McWilliam. He's talking about well-being from a resilience perspective and stress, good stress and bad stress, which is something Susie and I have a bit about at the moment.
Yeah, stress to drive your performance and stress that tips you over the edge.
So yeah, that's a good conversation, and he's followed by Resilient Kids, which is all about children in a lockdown situation, because there's a lot that we're not looking at for the children, and she gives some great strategies there. So those are the first two this morning. So that's 11 o'clock is Ross, and 12 o'clock will be Ashley. So I am going to leave us there. And I'm going to try and get into the group today and do some lives in the group today between things if I can. But thank you so much for being on this event with us. It's been great on this journey. Really enjoying the journey. I am going to crash so hard when this is over.
All right, I'll be there to pick up the pieces.
Thank you. Anyway, look, pleasure. It's been great.
Guys,
I will. This will cut off as soon as I push this stop button. We will go. So there'll be no conversation. Okay. All right. So cheers.
Bye.
All right.
Take care.
Cheers. Bye.
Have a good one. Bye.
Yep. You hit the off button. There it is. Yes.